You're listening to the Beer Craft Beer and Brewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben Holm and Andrew Ziegler.
So hop aboard for some wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always Beer 30 on
The Beer Craft.
Are you alone?
Yeah, you got the stuff?
Depends what you're looking for. We're talking crystal rye or flaked corn.
Oats, flaked oats. My IPA, it's just a little thin.
Oh, man. Oh, well, you're not the first. You ain't gonna be the last. Oh, half pound. Organic, rolled by monks in Yakima, cash only.
Wait. Do you have care pills? I swear I'd never, but my club would kill me if they knew.
Buddy, you're in a dark alley at midnight begging for dextrins right now. You've already sold your soul. That's $10. You didn't get it from me. You were never here.
How's that now? It's a little better. It is a little better. I got that little gravel I like so much.
Did you get the stuff?
I got the stuff, man. I got
All
the stuff. Welcome back, folks. Well, that escalated quickly.
Flaked oats in the shadows, dextrins in a Ziploc bag. Welcome to Adjuncts Anonymous, the episode where we take a long, honest look at the secret ingredients brewers use to smooth, sweeten, dry out, and otherwise doctor their beers without judgment.
Whether you're sipping on some honey like a backyard mead wizard or going full pastry stout with marshmallow and maple syrup, we're breaking down every adjunct without the side eye.
Right. So we're talking rice, we're talking corn, oats, rye, lactose. We've got some fruit, spice, wood, herbs, even, yes, day-old donuts. Yeah. Why we use them and when we use them, and when maybe you shouldn't.
So pour yourself a pint, maybe a suspiciously creamy IPA you swore was all malt, and buckle up. But first, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Beer 30, where we crack open a can and talk about what's in the glass. So stick around. Adjuncts Anonymous continues right after the necessary hydration.
It does. Wow. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome back to another Beer 30. Fuck yeah. Wednesday night. Good to have some beers. How you been, man?
Great to have beer.
Here we go. Oh, look at this. We got a Japanese style lager tonight.
Yep, and you've been. I've been Andrew.
I am too, Ben. Have been since before I was born. Anyways, here is a beer for you, sir.
Excellent. Looking good. What are we drinking?
This is Chuckanut Brewery's Japanese style lager.
Japanese style lager.
Yeah, gonna have a little rice in there, I bet you. We're gonna. I'm pouring. I'm doing it.
Smells like Japan.
I've never been, but I do like this beer.
It's good. Very good. It's kind of got a little different flavor profile in the beginning of it.
It does make me. It makes me think of like Sapporos and
it has a good mouthfeel.
Yeah,
I love the mouthfeel of Japanese beer because I like a lighter body.
But it's got a little bit of. There's a little body there. Just it's not water. I like it. I really do.
It's good. I want to read the can here.
Will and Company did a pretty good job over there.
Brewed and canned by Chuckanut Brewery right here in Burlington, Washington.
Yeah.
I would say go visit them. You can go visit them in the Skagit Valley or in Portland, Oregon. Japanese style lager.
I was just there.
A light body developed from the infusion of rice flakes, commonly used in this type of beer. Always crisp and sparkling, this lager is dry, nicely balanced, with a touch of noble hop bitterness. It's very nice.
Yeah, I had some notes on it, and now I can't find them.
It's got a little bit of the straw. It's got some notes here. You're going to look for some straw in the flavor. Fresh biscuit. It's going to be a little bit sublime taste on the malt, so not as malty forward as like a
I definitely get
Pilsner.
I'm definitely getting the straw for sure.
Yeah. That's from that malt. Oh, so good.
Rice Place is going
I
to
like
keep it down.
Yep, hops. Doesn't say what hop. It has a little symbol, but you know me, I'm blind.
Right? Yeah.
That's
It
it.
does not say what hops or what malt exactly, but we do know it's got
got
some
the-
rice in it today.
It does, and it has the lucky cat on the label.
Lucky cat on the label. Well,
Yeah,
then it
the-
has to be good.
Yep.
It has to be good.
It's like waving its
Yeah,
arm.
yeah,
and you
yeah.
Put a coin in it. I need one of those. I need one of those for the house.
I think we got a couple of those somewhere.
Yeah.
I saw them the other day. We were unpacking or packing something up.
Why not?
Yeah.
So how the heck have you been?
I've been doing pretty good. We were packing it. Like I mentioned, packing a bunch of stuff up. We're gonna switch around some offices at the building. So I gotta play Tetris with all my stuff. It's been
yeah.
kind of We've gotta do some moving around and get some stuff done. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I'm doing great.
Beer this week?
What's that?
Been drinking beer this week?
We funny story. We had a beer at the shop. It was the Burr clone, and it came out, and it's one of these beers I tried to recreate from memory, and it was okay. It was a little malt. At first, Josh and I hated it. Actually, it's like there was a little diacetyl thing going on, maybe, or we were kind of hating on it. We drank it the other day, and both of us kind of came to this realization. It's like, no, it's just. It had 7 pounds of Munich malt in it.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
malty as
Yeah.
fuck. So it wasn't as bitter as we.
Malty and caramely.
Yeah, yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah, and it was as soon as we figured that was the flavor. Oh, it's not too bad now. We are gonna mess around that.
Because then you can accept it.
Yeah, we just
accept
like
the
we have a
flavor.
better explanation of it. So our perception of the beer shifted
It's no
suddenly.
longer a flaw.
It's no longer yeah. Now it's a feature. Goddammit. It was deliberate.
Isn't that how the dill pickle started?
Probably a delicious accident. So that was kind of good. I did go out to Chuckanut Brewery. I picked up. I knew they had this beer. I was out there a couple weeks ago and had it then too. But it's like,
All right.
how perfect is it for an adjunct show today?
Right.
Talk about all the other extra goodies you can throw in a beer to make it cool.
Right. Here they have their upside down logo on this can.
Yeah, it is kind of an upside down can. I was like, once you see that, I don't know.
You can't go back.
Yeah.
Once you see the mountains in the clouds.
Maybe it's what happens
Very
when you
good.
have too many chuckanuts.
Yeah.
All the mountains look like that, right?
Wow.
Like, when you're on your face,
Wow.
this is what they look like. I think that's what it is.
I think you're right.
How about you, man? How you been?
Oh, I've been great. I've had a wonderful time. Yep. I had a good friend come to town, and ended up in the ER with 3 broken bones in the ankle.
Oof.
Yep.
I'm hurting just hearing that.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
Yeah, we just went to the orthopedic surgeon today, where they recast her leg.
Oh man, 3 places. That's
Yeah.
doing it right.
Yep. Yeah, good day at the river.
Bad day. Yeah, good day it started at the river. Bad day
Yeah.
finishing. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we've been dealing with that,
Sure.
and yeah, just
Probably not a lot of time for sneaking away for a
drinking
beer. for that.
once in a while.
Yeah, hard
Yep.
to sneak away when you're dodging emergency
Yep.
visits. Yeah.
Right.
Well, right on, man.
But other than that, the normal thing, working. It's getting nice in the Pacific Northwest finally,
Yeah, and it stays lighter a little bit longer, which I like.
and I'm gonna have to mow my lawn.
Yeah,
I mowed my lawn over the weekend,
which
which means
makes it about midweek, it's about time. Yeah. If you don't do it twice, you're kind of fucked.
Yep.
Yeah.
You end up with this shag carpet.
Pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yep. Welcome to the season. It's finally here. It's finally spring.
But my grass is going to grow all in. Like it's sparse right now. You know.
Oh, you got some spots.
From the winter.
Yeah.
The dogs.
Oh, sure.
The dogs will go out there and when the dogs go play on the wet grass, I mean they just tear it up. And wherever they tear it up, you know, it doesn't keep growing for the winter. It's not there for the winter, so it turns into mud and water and muck.
And it's all compact and doesn't grow shit anymore.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I got a few spots I need to deal with at the home front for that as well.
Yep. So it just grows in, and right now it's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Doing a great job.
Nice.
Throw the dogs out there, they tear it up. Yeah, I don't know what I'm worried about. I'm always worried. Dogs, don't tear up the grass.
It grows back.
It grows back fast.
Yeah. I'm not too. Keeping a perfect yard, that is not on my to-do list. I
Right.
mean, I like that somebody else takes care of that for me nowadays. Big fan.
I love it.
Yeah, dude.
I talked to you about my landscape. Yes.
Yeah. It's like
I mean, if I
alright.
could talk him into coming and doing, but he'd have to come every week. I'd be paying his bills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not too bad. We got out of maintenance, you know, after the first couple of rounds of big projects, and we get it down to, I think my guy's over every other week.
every other week.
The
Do you do it in between?
we do the kids' house across the street. It's a bigger property, so we take care of that as well. He comes out a week like that, but it's $400 a month or something like that. 400 and something a month. Or,
400?
Yeah.
For
Not bad.
What does he do a month?
Oh, he's mowing my yard twice a week and keeping it nice and pretty. And he's doing the kids' house, and they got a bigger
both
project out there.
both of
Yeah. So it's not bad.
Oh, got it. $50 a week? No, that's
you know what? I have
$100
to.
a week.
Yeah. I'd have to confirm that, but at this point, I'm like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to burn my weekend. Every 12 fucking minutes, mowing the damn lawn.
Every month.
Yeah, I'm not that into it.
Right.
Yeah. Turns out.
And you support community.
That's right.
You're a community supporter.
I got some of this fertilizer and I'm gonna spread it around, you know.
Right. Fertilizer.
That's money. All money is just fertilizer. Just gotta spread it around your neighborhood and make it better. Yeah.
That's right, man. I mean,
yeah.
the guy I'm having come and doing ours is doing the other 3 neighborhood houses.
Nice.
So yeah, the neighborhood guy.
I'm just in love that I don't have to do it. It cures or frees up hours every weekend for me.
It does.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Well, hey, I think that's just going to be about a wrap on Beer 30. We're going to finish this beer up.
We have one more beer though.
We have one more beer.
We do.
Well, we might have to take a break midway at some point and drink that.
Or we could just like fade to dark right now.
Back with our and then magically through the power of podcasting, we come back with the second beer.
Yep.
Who would know? Who would know the difference?
I know.
It could have happened right about
Not
now. Oh, that's a
to
beautiful
that.
moment. We've got beer number 2, Bochi Bochi Japanese style rice lager from the Crux Fermentation Project.
Yes, I love Crux.
Got this one at Hagen, didn't you?
I did.
I have almost bought this for the last 3 weeks in a row.
Well, there you go.
Glad you did. I almost bought it for this show, but then I saw the Chuckanut Rice Lager the week before, and like, yep, that's the star of the
It's
show.
always
now.
a hit. Chuckanut's always a hit.
But Crux is local.
Crux is from
Bend, Oregon. That's right.
Yep.
I mean, that's under
4.9.
it's under 400 miles. So that's local. You can make it in there.
Bachi Bachi Ball. Japanese style rice lager. So right on the can it says it's a rice lager. It's got the rice adjunct brewed with whole Calrose rice. Yeah.
That's the rice I buy.
Calrose?
That's American sushi rice.
All right. Yep. Pilsner malt, Oregon Tettnang, hops, clean, crisp, light floral notes. Notes of Bachi Bachi make it the perfect beer for any occasion.
That's really good.
Bochi Bochi means so in Osaka. We promise it will be better than the so with this one in hand.
So I don't get the malt profile, but I do get this like
Kampai.
I do get this mamutan or lychee kind of flavor in there.
Oh my, yeah.
That's really freaking good.
That's the Bachi Bachi. That's definitely not so.
That's pretty far from so-so. Goddamn, I'm liking that.
Now this thing is like this thing doesn't even taste like beer. I mean, it does taste like beer a little bit, you know, Japanese style beer, but it's kind of light and florally. I can tell it's a beer, but I mean it's kind of something newish.
I'm
kind of new to.
I kind of love it. If I'm gonna be honest, I really kind of the mouthfeel is light, but that little fruity character, hops are perfectly in balance. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's no malt character to speak of.
No.
There's no rice character. There's the
rice is gonna ferment out squeaky clean.
It says Oregon Tettnanger or Tettnang. I always say Tettnanger. So that's where you're getting the floral notes from. Makes it the perfect beer for any occasion.
That's what the label says.
Real.
But I really enjoy that beer. That is light and easy. Jesus, that's too easy to drink.
It is.
What's the ABV on this?
4.7.
4.9.
4.9. Yeah.
I mean, it'll get the job done. It's no ice house, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not advocating for drinking. No thanks. Chucking Out was clocking in at 4.8.
Nice.
Yeah,
so they're about relative. I remember brewing quite a few lagers, quite a few beers with even some ales with some rice.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I've used it a lot. I've used it quite a bit. Cream ales, and I've used it, and I've even thrown it in some little Belgian action, Belgian blonde action.
Right.
Keep it extra light.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which corn is normal in those beers too.
Corn in a Belgian beer?
In the Belgian blonde, yeah. Yeah, I think Leffe uses that.
A little, kind of almost sweet vegetable.
It is kind of like it makes me think of corn, like that sweet corn kind of, corn on the cob sweetness.
I almost bought corn on the cob today when I bought this beer. I went to Hagen, as you know.
Yeah, which side of the planet they grow that on?
I don't know. Well, It looked good.
It always does.
It looked good. I'm sure it would taste good.
Yeah.
I was like, it's April. I don't know where corn's coming from. But corn's coming from the other side of the world, which is opposite of October, September, when it's ready here. So it's coming from Chile or Brazil. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
And they might even have extra. Oh, no, it's before the tariffs. So it's cheap corn.
Cheap corn. Yeah.
So our corn in the summer and our vegetables in the summer are all going to be expensive.
Yeah.
And then our vegetables in the wintertime are going to be just as fucking expensive because nobody's going to lower their price. Everybody's going to higher their prices.
Forever. And that's what it is. It's like every other tech bro. The price just goes up,
Price
go up. Yeah.
Well, I've got a job for lesser money before. Dang it. Why didn't that work?
Damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn, that's good beer. That little lychee fruit makes me very happy. That every time my kid loves lychee fruit too. Goes crazy for it every time we go to Hawaii. Well, thank you for grabbing that beer, Andrew.
You're welcome. You know one thing I like about the Crux, this can, and it's a little different. The can is an aluminum can painted black, and it has the Crux Fermentation Project printed at the top collar of it. And then on the flat of the can, a lot of them have like a plastic, but this one's like a foil sticker.
Yeah.
That goes around the can. It's on there really nice.
It's cheaper. You can buy a lot of cans in bulk if you're small, and then put paper labels or stick-ons on there.
Yep. You get a little can labeler. It's great. Oh, the same as Chuckanut. Chuckanut just has
Chuckanut's like a sticker label there.
Yeah, sticker label.
I think it's great.
But Chuckanut just is using a.
Well, you can get the sleeves or the stickers.
Can.
You can get those printed off way cheaper than having cans printed.
Right.
Custom cans.
Because I think you need to print. It's a minimum run.
Probably absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all approval based. Like the amount of time it just takes to get your label approved by the TTB is a whole pain in the butt. It's better now. They got 2 guys working there.
Cool.
Well, that was kind of the history book says.
You said the numbers always go up.
Yeah, it just everything just goes up. They finally got a second guy approving labels. Finally,
That's cool.
of course, for many years there was only
one guy,
only 100 breweries in the fucking place.
Bert Strand.
Put out 8 different beers a year or something.
All
and
these
then
labels,
craft. And then the 80s happened, and
all these
craft
labels
starts
go through
exploding.
one guy, so they're all the same.
They were. It was all going through one guy. The birth of craft, like 80s and 90s, there was just one guy in the federal government who approved the labels, and you couldn't do shit without his approval on there. And it just took them a while. And then they hired somebody else. They finally added 2 people to that department, and it's been better by all accounts. It's still kind of a paperwork nightmare, approvals, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad it's working out.
That's the feds for you. There you go.
I'm glad it's working out better. I hired a new guy.
Progress, people. He probably lost his job, but, Doge probably canned him.
Well, they probably said, you guys are way too efficient.
2 of you. I heard there used to be 1 for decades.
Forever.
Fuck you. You're gone.
You're the new guy?
Yeah.
You're still on probation?
Yep, that's what they'd come across, I'm sure.
Hey, we definitely tried to date our podcast in time in some way.
Absolutely.
I know what week that was.
It's called the archive. Yeah.
Yep. I listened to another radio show. It's called the Shannon Burke Show, and he actually gave us a shout out without even knowing it, because I called in and he said, we must be a podcast about beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. But anyhow, what was I saying now?
Dating ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy. He had a listener on here. He had one of his listeners forever. His name is Blind Lawrence, and he listened forever. And he has automatic. He can't say photographic memory because he's blind, but he remembers everything he hears.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
He can go, okay, what happened on? When did I talk to so and so? And he'll call Blind Lawrence and Blind Lawrence, when did I talk to this guy? And he'll go, this date, blah blah blah, episode 4, hour 2. Yeah,
That's impressive.
And he's like, oh my gosh, that's totally true.
Yeah.
Yep, because he always used to use them.
Yep.
Cool, very cool. So so there's people that have those memories. So when we have 500 in the can,
we'll have this to look back on.
Kind of have a few times.
We got for 500. That's a little bit of ways. That's only a couple years. We are doing. Trying to do this every week. We are up to, this is episode 24. 24, which is awesome. That's twice the average right there.
Hell
Remember
yeah.
we talked about that a couple
We
of 4 weeks, a while ago. 12 weeks ago, the average number of podcasts was 12 for a brand new show.
12?
So we're doubling
And
that.
then they
I'm
die.
happy about that.
That's great. We're bringing up the average.
So let's wrap up these beers, and
right.
we are going to take a little break.
Have it all.
we're unpacking adjuncts right here on the Beer Craft.
Agent M, this doesn't add up. How does something as simple as yeast turn into beer?
It's not simple, Agent X. It's yeast at work, transforming sugars into something extraordinary. Northwest Brewer Supply teaches brewers how to harness the power of fermentation.
So they're training people to control it?
Exactly. They're real agents of change, one brew at a time.
Beer isn't magic, it's mastery. Learn the secret at Northwest Brewer Supply. Visit nwbrewers.com.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Beer Craft. Let's get into it, because we've got to say it loud and we've got to say it clear. Adjunct brewing is not a dirty word.
It's not a crime, folks. We're not cutting corners. We're opening your doors. Adjuncts aren't being cheap. They are about being creative. It's about building body, boosting ABV, and unlocking flavors you just can't get from barley alone.
Every time someone adds fruit, spices, or flaked corn, there's always one guy at a bottle shop whispering, what about Reinheitsgebot?
Okay, let's set this record straight. The so-called German purity law of 1516, it was never really about purity. It was about price control and was written to keep wheat and rice out of beer so they could be used for baking bread.
Here's the kicker. It wasn't even called Reinheitsgebot until the 20th century. I know we make a lot of jokes about this piece of parchment, piece of parchment from 500 years ago, but most of the document is dedicated to the price of beer. I think a case could be made that every beer is in violation of Reinheitsgebot for charging more than a penny per liter. So unless your homebrew rig comes with a horse and buggy, maybe it's time we stop quoting a 500-year-old tax law like it's gospel.
Well, plenty of the beloved beer styles from Belgium, England, and beyond never gave a hoot about that purity law. And we're better for it.
I think so. So today we're throwing out the shackles of barley-only brewing. In this episode, we're going to explain what adjuncts are, why we use them. We're going to compare the traditional versus modern applications from corn in cream ales to marshmallows and pastry stouts. We're going to break down when they work and when they're just gimmicks. We got a few of our own confessions, sins along the way for sure.
Yeah, so whether you're sneaking in a touch of that rye or going full cinnamon toast crunch, there's a place for you. And here at Adjuncts Anonymous, no shame, no judgment, just good beer.
All right, let's break it down. Flaked, fruity, funky, forbidden. We're going to go deep into the adjunct aisle. First off, we're going to be kicking off some myths, myth-bust. We're going to do a little myth-busting on adjuncts.
Mythbusters.
Yeah, this is the Mythbusters.
Mythbuster? This is the Mythbuster. This is the Mythbuster time.
Myth-busting around adjuncts. All right.
Some folks think that it's about... Are you ready?
We got to hold on.
Myth 1.
All right, let's see. It's time for some good old-fashioned myth-busting. Adjuncts have a bit of a bad reputation and not always a good one.
Well, some folks think using other than barley is like cheating on the final exam. But let's get some of those myths busted wide open right now.
So myth number 1, adjuncts are just cheap filler. Hey, reality time. Some are economical for sure, but some of them are also really expensive, super flavorful. They can be the defining characteristics and style, but it's not just about saving money. So let's clear this up. Corn and rice, we learned about those last week. They were used by the breweries during pre-prohibition, post-prohibition to combat the extra proteins in 6-row malt. So it wasn't really about cheap; it was just making the beer better, which was kind of cool. But calling them cheap filler ignores the fact that some beers needed a little lighter body.
Well, also, last time I checked, honey and maple syrup ain't cheap. Try going buying a gallon of the organic Vermont syrup and get back to me. I think I can't even tell you where I could get a gallon of maple syrup.
A gallon's a ton.
I think we talked about that recently. That
would be really expensive.
Nate did that with his maple trees.
Yeah.
And he would get like 5 gallons and have to boil it down
if
to
you're
half
very
gallon.
lucky. Yeah. Fruit too. Pureed 5 pounds of raspberries. Put that in your carboy. You're spending some coin on that. That's not filler, man. That's a commitment.
That is. Let's get to myth 2. Real beer only has 4 ingredients. My favorite, Reinheitsgebot.
Oh man.
You get to say this line because it's against my Reinheitsgebot.
Did you get a card? You got to
I got my Reinheitsgebot card.
You want me to say? Yeah. You want me to take it? So I think that real beer only has 4 ingredients. Is Reinheitsgebot propaganda? That's period. You swore some fealty. I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, the Reinheitsgebot is not the 11th commandment. Come on. It was a regional tax. And that tax law in 1516 Bavarian prevented these bakers from losing their grains. So it was purposeful.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to drink beer, but I eat beer too.
I think the whole thing's like, like I read somewhere it's like 300 words and only 27 of them talk about the ingredients.
Beer.
Everything else was about the cost of beer.
Yeah.
And those grains and what you could charge from it.
I've never read it.
It's not very long. Yeah.
No, maybe I did, right?
They only listed listed barley, water, and hops. Now, here's the thing. It's coming to that age-old, the thing you hear about not adding yeast on Reinheitsgebot.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they didn't even know what it was. Germ theory wasn't around. But that wasn't exactly, they knew it was there.
They knew something.
They knew yeast was there. They had a
magic.
They had a guy whose name it was to inoculate the yeast, and it's Hefner, and that's the guy who yeast. So the hef was the thing they thought of as the yeast, even if they didn't know it was yeast and germ theory and blah blah blah. They had that guy, but that stuff was removed from beer, or it settled off to the bottom, and you took the beer off. So it wasn't an ingredient that you added to beer because it didn't stick around.
Right.
So that sort of logic comes out in later Reinheitsgebot friendly beer theory, which is a fascinating topic. If you,
I just believe they had no clue what the hell they were doing, and they just thought it was beer magic, and went like, "Hey, if I just do such and such, it works."
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even called the Reinheitsgebot. In the 20th century, it was like pretending your HOA rules from 1972 are what, sacred scripture nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, 1911, somebody called it
still
Reinheitsgebot.
probably the same president.
It had another name. I wrote it down in my notes somewhere. Belgians, they laughed it off with their lambics, wit beers, coriander, orange peel. Come on. Beers with candy sugar. All the Belgians seem to like that stuff. All would have been illegal under that purity law. Of course, again, it's just Bavaria we're talking about.
Right.
The rest of the world could take it or leave it at their leisure. And I would recommend you to do that too. Yeah. Don't be afraid. It doesn't mean anything.
You know how many times I've violated Reinheitsgebot?
All of them. Anyways.
No, not all of them.
Yeah, no.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
I made some pretty good smash beers.
I'm not a big smash beer guy.
You're not?
No, I find them most often a little...
One-dimensional?
One-dimensional, exactly the word I use.
Well, it would be two-dimensional, I guess.
But barely.
Yeah.
So myth number 3. Adjuncts are only for gimmick beers. I'm going to have to go wrong on that one. They are everywhere. They're in classic, respected styles that have been around for centuries. You ever had a Guinness? Guess what? Flaked
Guinness.
Barley is an ingredient. It is an adjunct.
Oh, God.
It's not Reinheitsgebot friendly, but we drink it all the time. It's not just a gimmick.
I love it, too.
So flaked barley, that one is it's unmalted.
And I don't know anybody... Yep.
Which would have been a violation.
Oh.
It had to be malted.
Malted barley.
Yeah. Or wheat after 1620 when they have a... Anyway.
If you're talking American cream ale, rice or corn, Belgian triple, the candy sugar, these aren't novelty beers. These are pretty much the pillars of brewing.
We got them.
I love cream.
So you can use adjuncts to dry out a beer. You can improve head retention, add a silky mouthfeel, stabilize haze, add color, flavor, dimension, depth, and complexity to your final beer. You can do any of that.
Sometimes you just add marshmallows and peanut butter. You can add peanut butter cups. That's what having fun's all about. Not every beer has to be a philosophy debate, right?
Right.
I mean, I can throw whatever I like in there.
And you should.
Honey.
I think it's experimentation with flavor. So, myth number 4. What do we got here? We got...
if it's not all malt, it's not craft.
I think that it sounds bullshit to me.
I think craft is, uses all malt. No.
I mean, I think the big thing with craft, craft is intent on flavor. I don't know that most craft breweries hold up the purity badge. I know there's a few.
Yeah.
There's a few who have, and that's fine.
I mean, it's creativity. Craft. The craft is the creative part, part local. You're using toasted coconut. It makes your porter better. So, why wouldn't you toast your own rather than making, getting some already done?
Yeah, I don't think the
It's
15.
like terroir.
Craft wasn't just not all everybody in crafts is adhering to Reinheitsgebot or any other all malt myth. So I don't think it's not about purity. It's not about availability. I think it's about purpose. If the adjunct makes the beer more interesting, more drinkable, more fun, then yeah, I think it belongs in there.
Yeah. Well, we're not in the Middle Ages, and you don't have to swear fealty to barley alone. Number 5, adjuncts ruin head retention.
No,
I thought we
that's not
added
right, yeah.
adjuncts for head
We
retention.
totally do. Absolutely add them. There are some that will, though, but for the most part, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
like
adding
peanuts,
high oil ingredients,
oils,
yeah. Peanuts,
macadamians.
that coconut, peanut butter, chocolate, coffee even done incorrectly. We talked about that last week,
Yep.
about how to
Highly
do that.
roasted, oily coffee.
If you haven't
beans.
checked that episode, you should go. Well, wait, go do that now.
Coffee.
The coffee episode, that was
So
fun.
good.
What about wheat, oat, and rye? So they'll build a stable, creamy,
creamy head.
Yeah, they got more proteins.
Nice oats.
Foam positive proteins, which is going to trap bubbles for us.
Right? It's more about balance than blame, too. So don't throw those oats out with the foam.
No.
I always throw that foam right out of the boil.
Myth number 6. Using adjuncts means you're a lazy brewer.
Some adjuncts make brewing a little bit harder. I mean, definitely adds work to it.
Yeah, you ever brewed with pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like sticking your mash tun?
Cleaning my mash tun, that was the end of it, though.
Yeah, it was like the first and last one all at once. It is your crime and is also your punishment for putting pumpkin in your mouth. No,
I usually make, do the pumpkin first, process it, freeze it, then bring it out during brew day.
I don't even like pumpkin beers. I'm not drinking it.
Yeah, you're talking like the cleanup of your adjunct, but you have to prepare that thing first.
But yeah, preparing whole fruit for a beer. Sometimes you can just chunk it in. Other times you're running secondary or late. You got to deal with that. So, you're sanitizing
get
or
the
pureeing
get
or
the
pitting
spiders.
or peeling or
Get them all out of that blackberry.
yeah. So you want it easy? I say stick with extract kits.
Right.
I think adjunct brewers, they're putting in the work.
Now I got a question.
Yeah, hit me.
The aseptic
The aseptic packaging.
packaging.
Mm-hmm.
What's the smallest that I can get?
That marketplace post-pandemic has shrunk considerably. Usually the price the container you're going to see is a 32-ounce or half-gallon size. So small volumes of aseptic puree, not great. That being said, I'm using some like juices from like Goya brand, mango and pineapple juices. I'm gonna do those in a wheat beer here coming up next week.
Right, nice.
Do some bench trials on that.
And that's a good brand.
Yeah, because I didn't want to buy 32 ounces of puree in a
Right.
septic packaging.
Right. And then you buy it, and you're just going to have that frozen
It
without
lasts
water.
it lasts a long time if you freeze it. We've done that before.
Yeah.
Definitely recommended. Adjunct brewers are putting in the work.
True that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so myth 7, adjuncts are just a cover for a bad base beer.
If your base beer sucks, I don't think no amount of cinnamon's
Nope.
gonna make up for that.
Usually not.
Um,
Good brewers use adjuncts to enhance the solid foundation. You don't cover up your mistakes with coconut. You can't.
maybe. Well, I don't know. Is that like some people think you can with hops?
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes you can. Sometimes you can hide subtle off flavors with hops.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. But when it comes to this, I mean, it's not like you're going to add, 2 boxes of Fruity Pebbles and hide everything.
Who could afford that? That's so much fucking money.
$10?
$10 for like 4
$10
ounces of Fruity Pebbles. There is however, no, we'll talk about that later. No, there's speaking of breakfast, There's a brewery in Belgium does they go to all the bakeries and they grab the day old pastries and they throw that in their mash tun up to like 15%.
Okay.
Right into their
I've
beer.
heard about this.
Yeah.
I've heard about that before.
I want to do a Dunkin' Donut like day old
Dunkin' Donut run?
Dunkin' Donut day old donut beer.
Right.
That'd be kind of
Yeah,
fucking
but
that'd be fucking cool.
Can we get that?
I don't know. They do that anymore? Do they
know.
sell day old donuts?
I don't think so.
They probably don't make enough donuts to sell day old.
Franz, you go to the Franz, the outlet mall.
Yeah.
The outlet over Anderson
maybe
Road.
we should call up the donut hut in what's the donut house in Anacortes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Donut house.
Donut house, yeah.
Yep.
Call them up. Maybe we'll make a deal happen with that.
Right.
That'd be a donut
You know
beer.
what?
Y'all want a donut beer? Should we do a donut beer? Tell me about it on Facebook.
Donut beer. And what kind? I mean, we can go like the glazed raised.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
that's-
do whatever.
That's like your bare bones.
You can do bear claws.
Yep,
You
bear
do bear
claws.
claws.
Oh, cinnamon.
Yeah. All right. What is up?
Super. That was really good.
What do you got for myth number 8?
Oh, adjuncts. Adjuncts. They're okay. They're the new craft beer trend.
I don't know who thinks that. They've been around for like 1,000 years.
Oh, I just found out about them.
And you just found out about them? I don't know. Maybe I've been spoiled. I've been selling them for a while.
Ancient Sumerians brewed them.
Yeah, dates and
bread.
Dale and leftover bread. Medieval gruits. I mean, those weren't hops.
Herbs,
Those used
yarrow, bog myrtle.
bog myrtle. I think
Have you ever
could
used
probably
bog
see.
myrtle
I've never
in
used
your
bog
beer?
myrtle. We can get it from the Wild Valley Apothecary in Burlington as well. You can get bog myrtle. You can also get yarrow. You can get, I think, burdock and dandelion root
Now,
might
does it
find their
come
place
in
the gruit.
is it the essential oil or is it actually the herbs?
Gruit was one of
The
the.
gruit is the.
It's a tightly controlled secret. We can kind of think, bog myrtle was
And
one
it-
of them. There's some
and it's
reports
it's
of it.
terroir, so it came wherever it's come from is the local herbs of what they had, unless they can get something
But
from the trades.
that blend, whatever gruit was, it was a tightly controlled secret by gruit guilds in the Middle Ages.
They wouldn't tell you.
They weren't telling you. No, you bought it under license from them. Like you paid them an exorbitant fee for their super secret recipe. I think the 11 herbs and spices in KFC has been leaked, but not gruit.
Reinheitsgebot also talked
See,
about
they said hops. They didn't take
using
anything about
hops.
yeah, hops only.
I mean,
Post hop, post gruit.
Reinheitsgebot really changed the beer. Real changed the beer.
In a postage stamp area of Bavaria. Yeah.
And I've
About to settle at Delaware.
I've had some homebrew with some gruit.
Very
good.
Yeah, I think you're good.
A very witchy witch brewed it for me.
That sounds fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Bless her heart, she's in another realm.
No longer making gruit.
No longer making gruit. But what she did was good.
Let's see. There Native American tribes use maize in fermented
that sounds
beverages.
really
That's a whole thing.
Right. Well, adjuncts are a tradition.
Yeah. They just weren't called.
Tradition.
Myth number 9. We got adjuncts only matter for certain styles of beer. But I don't know. I think you
style
could.
is that?
I don't know. I think you could find a home for certain adjuncts, especially in like the flaked, unmalted product categories. You can make some cool things happen with rye and oat or wheat in a lot of cool beers.
Right.
A lot of different styles.
Now I'd have to add a little bit of two-row to that, right?
Well, naturally.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about how to use those here coming up in the
So I'm
second
thinking,
half.
just using these couple of things, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I got no diastatic power coming out.
But I could see them being used, like a spice over rye get used in a brown ale and an amber pale ales, and then that's going to work in a lot of
You're
different
making
places.
my mouth water.
I know. I should be making it thirsty. Yeah. Myth number 10: there's a right way and a wrong way to use adjuncts. Listen, I think if we're talking to the homebrew scene, we get to do whatever the fuck we want to do, because not only are we the designer, we're the brewer, we're the marketing department, we're all of the things. We get to make 100% of the decisions. We get to do whatever the hell we want to.
You always can.
Yeah.
And you will, which is beautiful. And that's the way we should do it.
I think a lot of pro brewers are actually a little bit jealous of the homebrew scene because we get to experiment with the cooler things.
That's where the
newest ingredients.
That's where the craft passion comes from, the heart. But remember, you can overdo it a little bit. You can overdo it a lot.
I call those tuition. Like when you mess up a batch of beer,
experience.
That is tuition.
An experience point right there.
You're paying for that education right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's great.
I think some of the best beers come from bad ideas. I think the hazy IPA, that beer, whether if you're into it, cool. If you love it, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But that beer came out of a bad idea. I think it was the bad idea to put that much hops early on, and it made for a really hazy finish.
It's your creative license.
Yeah. I think the early hazies, we'll talk about, maybe we have on this show, but the early hazies, they say, oh, don't pour it out of the can because it'll fuck it up.
Right.
And it's because they were murky and opaque.
And nobody wanted to see it.
Yeah,
because they didn't taste that way.
They weren't ready for that.
Right. No, it wasn't tasting that way. And when you saw it, you're just like when you were talking about the caramel flavor in that very Munich beer. Mm-hmm. Once you understood that and you knew it wasn't a flaw, you accepted it.
Right. It changed things in your brain.
It changed it in your brain, the way you perceived it. And so that's what happened when they said, hey, he goes, don't drink this out of a glass. Drink it out of the can right here. You're going to love it. It tastes so good.
All right. I absolutely right. And we're going to take another little break here. When we come back, we're going to break down these adjuncts. With all the time that we have left, we're going to give you the breakdown of what it is, how to use it, when you want to use it, how much to use it.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. So stick around.
H&M, we're in. The hops, they're glowing.
Those aren't ordinary hops, Agent X. Northwest Brewer Supply sources the finest ingredients to create beers that elevate consciousness.
So that's why the IPA crowd keeps coming back.
Hoppy, hazy, or heavenly. It's not a conspiracy, it's science, and it starts at Northwest Brewer Supply.
Don't just drink beer, brew beer. Find out more at nwbrewers.com. The truth is in the brewing.
Welcome back to the Beer Craft Beer and Brewing Podcast with the adjunct myths fully busted. We thought we should go over a few popular choices while we still have some time.
We probably won't get through the list before we run out of beer, so don't worry.
Because we've made a handy little adjunct reference cheat sheet for you. We're going to give that away for free. You can find that link in the show notes. Just enter your email and we'll send it out to you instantly. Andrew, where would you like to start? What's your favorite adjunct?
My favorite is just like what's in this beer is the rice.
Yeah, that is tasty stuff.
Light in body, neutral flavor. You can use up to 20% of your entire grist.
When would you use that?
You use that in the mash, and I suggest using rice hulls.
I'm a big fan of rice hulls, and that should be on our list. I'm going to make sure it makes it on there. This one doesn't really add anything, but rice hulls, this is going to supplement for any time we're going to use huskless grains like wheat, rye, whether flaked or not. None of that has a husk on anymore. Like wheat used to have one, but it's one of these like you look at it and it falls off. If only all the chicks I ever met were anyways.
I thought they were.
So we're going to supplement with rice hulls for products like wheat and rye and corn, whether flaked or otherwise.
And pound.
I'm pretty much like if I'm at a 30% grain rate, or 30% of my malt comes from huskless material, I'm definitely going to put a pound of rice hulls in there. If it's just if I just have say a couple pounds, I might go with a half a pound of rice hulls in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Corn, flaked corn.
Flaked corn we've talked about a couple of times on this show already, but I do like it. It kind of rounds out or smooths out some flavor profiles in some light cream ales. I dig it there. And the cream ale is one of these beers that every time I brewed it, I kind of had to brew it twice as much the next time. So we got up to 20 gallons on our brew stand at the shop, and then we found out a very valuable lesson is that beer disappears at 20 gallons just about as fast as it does at 5 gallons.
It looks to me like you need a 5-barrel system.
We might have, but if we're just drinking all the profits, that's going to be great.
Well, I mean,
Let's see.
it doesn't look like you're drinking, too much.
I do like, I do like honey occasionally.
Honey boosts ABV.
Yep.
Dry,
I'm not going to use a ton
drier
of it, though.
finish.
I'm definitely going to use a ton of it. If I can't get Belgian candy sugar, I'm going to use honey.
Yeah.
They're going to be pretty similar. Both are, honey's got a bunch of invertase in it. Belgian candy sugar's inverted sugar. Just heat and
Dump in.
yeah, heat
End
and
of the
dump it,
boil.
yeah, pretty much. I
and
mean, like
dump right
Belgian
in the end
candy
of the
sugar
boil.
is one of those like, oh, it's a secret how they make that, but it's cooked sugar.
So honey is
Honey,
1 pound per 5 gallons.
I could go like a 1 pound, 5 gallons would be good. I don't want to use a ton of honey. It's a really expensive sugar source. And most of like the delicate aromatics of honey probably won't last the beer.
make it.
So I don't want to use a ton of it, but just to dry out a finish, that's kind of nice.
Right. Speaking of the expensive options, maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another spendy one. We did talk about that one.
Very unique.
How much would you use on that though?
Maybe up to 1 pint per 5 gallons,
That's $16 to $25 right there, isn't it?
at least.
Yeah, just for the pint.
I know. Add it to the late boil
How much?
or the fermentation. If you're gonna spend that kind of cash on it, it's probably better to add to the ferment. So you don't.
I would,
lose-
yeah, and I
you
would definitely do
don't
late
lose
on that
anything.
one. Yeah.
I mean, the only reason you would put it in your boil would be to sanitize it.
Yeah. Speaking of adjuncts, we hinted at talking about our horror shows. You have any like adjunct related horror stories?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. I think we were talking about that before. The one where I added, it was the Saison, and it was a Twitter contest. It was the Iron Chef Twitter contest, and he gave us the recipe, and we all brewed it. It was like a lavender cedar chip
Oh, that's crazy.
Saison with something else in it. Yeah, it had to have certain ingredients. And this is one time that I can really say that I did overdo it. I overdid it. I overpowered it.
Which
it.
which
And it was
element?
the first
you got?
time. I think the lavender.
Mm.
I think the lavender was.
Was it at least a culinary lavender? Because that's a thing. There's a couple of species that definitely taste like soap.
I can't remember. Where's my recipe book?
Did you get? Was it a soapy finishing beer, or was it just way too much
Oh,
lavender?
way too much lavender and
Little goes a long way on that one.
way too much lavender and I said cedar, but it's probably oak chips. It was chips.
I've done gone overboard on cinnamon and ginger myself. Both of those are heavy hitting compounds. Cinnamon, I would probably only go like half a quarter to a half a stick, maybe 1 stick per 5 gallons and it better be a strong flavored beer.
Right?
To stand
You're
up
making a Christmas beer.
yeah.
Coriander, cinnamon.
I'm not a big
nutmeg.
coriander
Oh my
fan.
gosh.
Like
But I mean,
the
you can-
wit
you can
beers,
overdo
it's really easy to overdo it, and then they stop tasting like beer, and they just start tasting like a
Perfume.
like the bottom of a mortar and pestle.
Yeah.
You ever use molasses in a beer?
Molasses.
Yeah,
I have.
I like it. I like molasses.
I used it in a imperial stout. Abuela's.
Abuela.
What was this called? It was called something. I named it something cool. It'll come to me. Abuela's something.
Something or other.
I think it was called Abuela's cookie.
How much? How much?
I think it was called Abuela's cookie.
That makes sense. If your
This is
grandma,
super good.
if your grandma made cookies, yeah.
Yep.
How much molasses did you put in that beer?
Quarter pound to a half pound per 5 gallons.
No,
Probably a pound.
probably stuck that. When you put that, when you put it down there.
Boil it.
Boil it.
Yeah, boil it.
There you go. There you go. Lactose. I've played with lactose a time or two. Lactose is one of those sugars that yeast just can't handle. It's milk sugars, so they don't deal with. They don't handle that one.
They don't eat it.
They can't eat it.
They can't eat it.
Yep.
So
we're
that
gonna,
means they don't create alcohol either.
No, it's going to add sweetness
stay
and
in
a little
your-
bit of body
they
to a
stay
finish.
in your
Yeah.
drink.
Yep.
Okay, got
And
it.
I've added this at packaging. I've added it in secondary. I don't know if I've done it in the boil, but a half to 1 pound per 5 gallons did a pretty good job. It did raise the gravity, so it gets some sweetness in there.
Right. Maltodextrin.
Oh yeah,
Now, what is this like? Is this a powder?
it is a powdered extract.
Is it?
And it's basically malt sugars, like clean, super squeaky clean malt sugars. But they are the unfermentable varieties. So when you're doing your mash, you're favoring either fermentable sugars or unfermentable sugars for body and mouthfeel based on, the enzymes we're favoring.
Right. How much are you going to use?
This I've gone, quarter to a half a pound in 5 gallons. Pretty good. I've seen some guys use a pound in 5 gallons. Definitely wanted a chewier beer, for sure. Adding it to the
if you
boil, they're
do-
unfermentable sugars. Easy stuff to
Right.
do.
Right.
Again, if we run out of time, folks, we do have a big list of adjuncts, and we're going to have that all in some downloadable content right there in the show notes. Just click the link, enter your email address, and it will be instantly sent to you.
Coconut is a very popular one.
Oh, coconut porters are fun, though. So why wouldn't they be popular?
Scrappy Punk is a really cool brewery. I remember he's no longer in business. Had a great coconut blonde. Oh, it was super good. And yeah, it was a labor of love. It was
Yeah.
a labor of love.
You got to use a ton. I find you have to use a lot of coconut
Yep.
in a beer.
But you know what? Something like that. I mean, something with that kind of a value brings people to your place.
Do you
and
remember?
exposes all the other goodness that you can give. I remember pumpkins.
Do you remember James Martini's coconut porter?
Mm-hmm.
I believe he used 2 pounds per gallon in that porter.
Wow,
That was a lot.
Self-toasted.
Yeah, and he would toast. Yeah, would buy 5 pounds or 10 pounds of coconut or something, and he toasted in his oven on a sheet, several sheet trays. I find it is one of those flavors that it's very good in the very early days, and it rapidly deteriorates. If you don't have a ton of it,
It goes
doesn't
away.
last. Yeah,
It
doesn't
as
last.
long as it doesn't turn into some other flavor compound.
Yeah, and those beers I typically don't drink. They don't hang around. Let's say that.
Oh, it's pepper. A pepper. I love to put pepper in stuff.
What kind of peppers were you using?
I think I just pureed some habanero and some jalapeno.
Ooh, habanero. I've used that one. What'd you put the habanero in it?
I put it in my fermenter.
What kind of beer was it?
A light beer.
Yeah,
Oh, I do everything with light beer.
for experiment. Less those stronger malt, big malt flavors or big roast flavors or big hop flavors.
No, I keep the malt flavor subdued a little bit. Keep the hop character in balance with that, so I can showcase the flavor that I'm adding.
I want
Watermelon.
I could groove on a habanero pineapple or habanero mango.
So you want
just about anything?
We can talk about a couple of the beers that I
Yeah.
did. I mean, this is a great show to talk about. A beer I made called Peanut Head.
Peanut Head. Sounds
Peanut
great
Head.
name.
I did research. I used to have customers come in and ask me for a peanut beer, and so I was like, I want to make a beer like that, but I wasn't sure exactly what type of a beer I wanted to make. So I went on a research run, and I went and grabbed 3 or 4 different beers with peanut in it, and I was tasting them. It was a peanut porter, it was a peanut milk stout, it was a peanut stout. And I was tasting them, and I was thinking about you know how the roast flavor kind of fights the peanut flavor, because the peanut flavor has roast, has kind of an earthy flavor, and that kind of counteracts the roastiness in the stout or the porter. So that's why I put it in my blonde beer. And the first time I did it, it was not tasting good at all. I made my blonde beer, and I put it in the boil, and we added peanut butter and a little bit of honey, and we add it after we flame out, and as we're chilling and going into the fermenter, I'm tasting it because I want to know what it tastes like, and it is not tasting very good, and I didn't know what I was thinking, and I'm letting it. I let it go. I've already invested. We're making this beer. I'm committed to this thing, and I let it ferment, and I'm checking this every couple of days because this is my first time I ever brewed with peanut butter. This is my first peanut head, and I'm tasting it every couple of days, and I'm like, this beer sucks. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, this is gonna be a bust, and finally after 8 days, I think this beer kind of clears out a little bit. And I'm like, all right, it's time. Let's fucking chill. We're going to cold crash it and fill the kegs. And then I'm going to cold crash the kegs for a day. And I'm going to taste it again. And it tasted horrible. And I apply CO2 and I carbonate it. And it was a different story. It was wonderful.
Carbonic acid adds a whole nother flavor profile. It's hard to anticipate how it reacts with things.
It was amazing.
That's a lucky break.
It was amazing.
I did not fare so well with pumpkin beers. Turns out I don't even really like them. The first one I ever had was I bought it because it came in a 1 liter flip top. I was like, that's a cool bottle. And $8.99,
Right,
I get a free fucking bottle.
Doesn't that have that hoot owl on it? The owl?
Oh, yeah, you know the one. I hated that beer.
Imperial Pumpkin Stout.
I hated that beer. It was 9.5% or some dumb thing. I got to the fucking bottom of that thing. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. A liter of that, totally wasted.
I can dig this one.
But trying to deal with pumpkin in the mash, it was a fun stuck sparge experiment.
Now you're using it in the mash.
I tried to roast some. I tried to roast some.
What are you doing with it
and
in
then
the mash?
Trying to dough in with roasted pumpkin puree in there. Yeah. Not my favorite thing.
Okay, I do it in the boil.
Yeah, definitely gonna do that next time.
Very end of the boil.
Yeah.
Because I can.
I learned things.
Yeah, then it filters out in the screen.
Yeah, I learned things. I was like, well, it's starchy. Let's I just cooked it, so now it's sugary. Let's put the mash, get all the enzymes in there.
You can also put it in a muslin bag. Don't stuff it, but
could have done that.
Put it in there.
Could have done that.
Has a little room to move.
Didn't do that. Could have done that. Coffee we talked about last episode. So you want to deep dive into coffee? Check out last week's episode.
Oak chips.
Oak chips. I love oak on beer. I think oak is one of those. We didn't just use it for the cool flavors. The woody and nutty and vanilla characters of especially an American white oak. No, we used it because there were tannic compounds that preserved whatever you put it in there. In an era where we didn't have refrigeration for millennia. However, we can preserve this beer. We're going to do that. So oak was a big player in the beer game for a really long time. And it's a shame now that there's only generally an annual offering of a barrel-aged beer program. I think it's fantastic. I would go 1 to 3 ounces in 5 gallons easily as a secondary ferment. What if I've got a barrel? If it's a new fresh dump barrel from say a distillery, that's a fantastic product.
6 days and you're done.
Yeah. Oh my God. You get some killer
6 days.
Yeah.
And you've got enough.
And
I
if
mean,
you have
it's in the
another
Toma,
beer,
too much.
if you have another beer to fill it right away after
Yes.
emptying it,
Oh, you need to do that. Yes. That's
that's
important.
the only way to do it.
Yep.
Because if you wait a day, you're boned. That's a
Okay.
sour barrel.
Yeah. First run is 6 days on a super fresh barrel. 6 days. Second run is 3 weeks. Third run is you age it.
Yeah, I always kind of did like a doubling. Like if you did 6 days, 12 days, 24 days.
What was that called? What kind of barrel? Where you'd put Rosellaire yeast.
Oh, the
and Flanders red, and then where you take out half.
oh,
and you
that's a
keep adding.
Solera.
Solera.
Yeah, Solera's kind of
barrel,
like
yeah.
that. That would be
You take a little and you add a little. Take a little. Add
that
a
would
little.
be a good project if you really like sour beers
mean-
because you kind of have to at that point.
Because
Because if you fuck up if you have a barrel and you're doing home brew into it, there's a good chance that barrel's going to sour. So you might as well get to a point where you like that sort of thing because that's the direction you're heading.
Yep,
It is almost like the default position.
And just let it sour and just keep adding food to it.
I've had some
Solera.
Solera. We pulled out like a brown ale that, man, it's got this friggin' killer like nutty brown ale flavored
You know what? Bet I could
vinegar
work
kind
out
of
a
thing.
deal
Ah,
with you, huh?
goddamn delicious.
I bet I could work out a deal with you.
How are we doing on time?
We're right about what we're talking about. Let's talk about one more thing.
Talking one more thing.
Cereal. Great. No, cereal.
Cereal?
Breakfast cereal.
Breakfast cereal? Why not, man? Why
I mean, who
not?
does it?
I don't know
does
that
it?
anybody does it.
I know somebody.
Do you?
Middleton Brewing in Everett, Washington.
Oh, fuck yeah. We need to get that beer.
Now, I can't talk for if they do it today.
But at one
They
time,
used to.
at one point.
No, they used to. That was their specialty, was to do cereal beers.
What kind of cereal did they do?
Fruity Pebbles, graham cracker,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, man. Forget about it. That's pretty good
There's
stuff.
another one that was. It just keeps reminding me of like chocolate covered marshmallow.
Count
something. I
Chocula
don't
kind of
know.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they used to make all kinds, and you know you go in there and they're a small brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
So
I
they do
imagine
it.
they probably threw those in the mash.
quirky flavors.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the
do
people
you
get
do you
in
know
there.
where they use them?
I do not, but I'm pretty sure it's probably the fermenter. Because I mean, I don't know if you'd need to. I mean, if you're going to start to boil cereals.
Well, in the mash, yeah. Like how
use
much
a
of
mash
those
the
flavors
same.
come through that early after then a boil and then a ferment?
And when
So
you
they-
put them
I
in
imagine
the
they were pretty
fermenter, they
cloudy
need to be
beers.
in a bag.
Were they pretty cloudy beers? This
don't
ever?
remember.
Yeah. Good content. Good content.
I don't remember. I mean, it was many years back, many beers ago.
All right, folks.
But I'm sure it wasn't. It was delicious.
we are.
It wasn't like cloudy, but yeah.
Well, you mentioned putting it in the boil.
Right.
So I would imagine throwing cereal into the boil or into the fermenter after, in secondary.
So you'd use cereal, breakfast cereal, and the mash only.
Yeah. I would start there.
Okay.
Second, I would boil it.
In the mash,
But like,
steep
you,
it.
You kind of want the starches, so that makes me think of the mash. Because
Okay.
I know those Belgian guys with the donuts they would throw the donuts in the mash, and it's just for the sugar content.
Sugar has a little bit
Yeah,
of
refined
wheat.
Extra refined
Refined wheat.
flour
Yeah,
gets
flour.
quickly broken down. It does make you wonder though. It's like how do they get the flavor of Fruity Pebbles to survive till the glass?
Right.
Right? They'd have to do something different for that. Very interesting. We're gonna have to experiment. We have to call them up and get them on the show and tell us about the cereal beer. I think that's going to wrap up our discussion on adjuncts.
Our deception on
we
adjuncts.
do have kind of a cheat sheet. We put it together.
We did.
Down in the show notes. Just click on that, enter your
Many
email,
more adjuncts.
and we'll send it directly to you. But that's going to be a wrap on the beer craft for today.
Thank you, folks, for listening.
Thanks
It's all
for-
about you.
You guys rock.
I want to hear from you.
We do want to hear from
Leave a
you. You
note.
can find us on Facebook, nwbrewers.com on Facebook. You can reach us there. In the very near future, I've launched a Facebook fan group
page that I will make that available if anybody wants to. We can sit and chat about the show or anything else you want to talk about on the show, or anything about the show related to beer, brewing, and the show. We'll have a place for that.
Anything about the show?
Yeah,
On the
so
show.
I'll be launching that in the very near.
We're gonna launch a new show.
Very near future. Again, thanks for joining us on the best show on the podcast landscape. I'm Ben.
I'm Andrew.
Signing off for another episode of
The
Beer Craft. Buckwheat 167 to 203, 75 to 95. Pretty much the rest of the world. Maize 144 to 162 degrees Fahrenheit, 62 to 73 degrees to everywhere else except for that other one country. Millet, that's a fun one. Google that one. 152 degrees to 170 degrees. Gets to 67 to 77 degrees Celsius. Rice is going to come in. Going to want to gelatinize that at 154 to 171, 68 degrees to 77 Celsius. Rye, unmalted rye, 135 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 to 70 for everybody else. Wheat, 136 to 147 Fahrenheit, 45 to 64 degrees Celsius. Oats, coagulated, 127 to 138 degrees Fahrenheit, 53 to 59 degrees Celsius.